So class, welcome to the next lecture. So in this lecture, we will start with the topic that is resonance. Okay, resonance. Resonance. Hope the visibility is clear. Or let me just zoom out. Okay, I think it is okay. So resonance. First of all, what is resonance? Resonance is a condition. So this resonance it can occur both in series circuit or parallel circuit. Parallel circuit. By series, I mean series RLC circuit, and by parallel, I mean parallel RLC circuit. So basically, what is resonance? It is a condition. It is a condition when in a circuit, the inductive reactance XL it becomes equal to the capacitive reactance XC. Okay, so when inductive reactance becomes equal to capacitive reactance, obviously it will be at some frequency omega. Then we say that resonance has taken place in a circuit. Okay, so I told you. So let me consider a circuit. Now I will consider. I will take a case of series RLC circuit. And parallel RLC circuit, it will be a homework too because it is comparatively easier as compared to the series circuit. Okay, guys. So let me take a circuit where I'm taking a series RLC circuit. I will take a resistor, okay, an inductor, and a capacitor. Okay. So I have three elements here: inductor, capacitor, and inductor. Okay, I have resistor, inductor, and capacitor. So you can say I am saying that it occurs when XL is equal to resonance takes place in a circuit. It can be a series RLC circuit or a parallel RLC circuit when I am saying when XL is equal to XC. So XL is equal to XC means what is the prerequisite? The prerequisite is that the circuit should contain at least one inductor and one capacitor. Okay, because if we will have one inductor and one capacitor only, then we can make XL is equal to XC. If there is no C, how can you compare? XL will be equal to what? Nothing. So only when XL is equal to XC, then we can say that resonance has taken place. So the prerequisite is that there should be one inductor and one capacitor at least in a circuit. Okay, so here I'm taking a series RLC circuit. I have a resistor, inductor, and a capacitor. So I will take the circuit in a phasor or frequency domain form. Okay, frequency domain form. So I'm saying I have a resistor R and an inductor. If L is the inductance of the inductor, so how will you represent that inductor in frequency domain form? It will be J omega L. And if I have a capacitor of capacitance C, how will you represent it in phasor form? Minus J divided by omega C, or simply 1 divided by J omega C. You can also write it as minus J divided by omega C. Okay. So I am saying that I suppose that I have we have a source here, voltage source with voltage Vs, source voltage. This Vs is in phasor form. I am writing it as Vm angle theta. And some current is flowing in this circuit. I am saying this current is as phasor current I. Okay. Clear up to this point? Now just tell me what will be the impedance of this circuit. Okay, if I will say, I will write that impedance, that is nothing but R plus J omega L plus 1 by J omega C, right? Okay, I'm saying that Z is nothing but R plus J omega L plus 1 divided by J omega C. Okay, so I made a mistake here. Please, you do not make this mistake. So let's separate real and imaginary. I will set Z is equal to R plus J. It will be omega L minus 1, omega L minus 1 by omega C. This is L. Okay. So what is omega L? It is nothing but XL. This is nothing but XL. And what is 1 by omega C? Nothing but XC. Got it? So you can also write it like Z is equal to R plus J XL minus XC. Okay. And this XL, it depends upon L and omega, and this XC, it depends upon C and omega. No L and, we cannot change L and C. It is fixed. Okay. So what happens at resonance? At resonance, we say that XL is equal to XC. So at resonance, we say XL is equal to XC. So what will be Z? Z will be nothing but equal to R. Okay. Note that at resonance, the impedance of the circuit is purely resistive because we don't have any reactive component, because this imaginary term whole becomes equal to 0. Okay. We have only the real component. So we can say that the total impedance at resonance, it will become equal to the, it will be purely resistive. Impedance will be purely resistive. Got it? So we have XL is equal to XC. So how can this XL and XC be equal? Let me turn the page. I am saying that XL is equal to nothing but XC. What is XL? It is omega L, and what is XC? It is 1 by omega C. So L and C are fixed. I am saying these two will be equal. If these two will be equal, then what will be XL minus XC? If XL is equal to XC, then XL minus XC will be equal to 0. Or I can say that omega L minus 1 by omega C will be equal to 0. Okay. So when these will be 0, means it will be 0 only at some frequency. At some frequency omega is equal to omega naught, we can say that XL and XC are equal at any frequency. We don't know what is that frequency, but we are representing that frequency by omega naught, where omega naught is nothing but the resonant frequency. So when omega is equal to omega naught, we will write omega naught L will be equal to 1 upon omega naught C, which will mean that omega naught L minus 1 upon omega naught C is equal to 0. If you will solve this equation, you get omega naught is equal to 1 upon under root, omega naught square is equal to under root 1 upon LC. Omega naught square is equal to 1 upon LC, or omega naught is equal to 1 upon under root LC. Okay. So you know that omega is equal to 2 pi F. Okay. So when omega is equal to omega naught, frequency will be equal to, F will be equal to F naught. Got it? So if I will substitute this equation here, I will get F naught is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi under root LC. Okay. So if you will see that under resonance, at resonance, I am saying that at resonance, let me go back to this diagram. I am saying, suppose at resonance, I am saying this impedance, this reactance is equal to this reactance. Okay. So it is XL minus XC. So what will be the drop across this voltage, across this inductor, because same current is flowing in this inductor and same current is flowing in this capacitor. So whatever will be the voltage drop in this inductor, same will be the voltage drop in this capacitor, but the polarities will be opposite. Okay. So under that situation, what will be the voltage drop? Because as you see, the total impedance of the circuit, it is equal to nothing but R. Obviously, whole drop will be across this resistor. Okay. So the drop across this resistor, it will be, whole drop will take place across this resistor, and no drop will take place across the series combination of inductor and capacitor. I am repeating here that no drop will take place across the series combination of inductor and capacitor. So I was saying that at resonance, the whole voltage drop will be only across the resistor because the circuit will be purely resistive, and the drop across the series combination of L and C, drop across the series and combination of L and C, it will be equal to 0. Though there will be equal drops across both the elements, but these drops will be of opposite polarity, and thence these drops will cancel each other, okay, and net drop will be only across the resistor. Okay, so in other words I can say that since the only drop that is taking place in this circuit, it is across this net drop that is taking place in this circuit is across the resistor. So I can say that the series combination of L and C, they are acting as a short circuit. Please listen carefully. I am saying that the series combination of inductor and capacitor, it is acting as a short circuit. Though individually they are not acting as a short circuit. Individually there will be some drop across this inductor and some drop across the capacitor. But if you will see the overall drop across the series combination of these two, inductor and capacitor, it will be 0. Okay. So I am saying the whole drop is across this resistor. Okay. So if the whole drop is across this resistor only, so what will be the and you know this is a resistor, the current and voltage, it will remain in phase. Okay. What I am saying here, I am saying that since whole drop is across, resistor, then voltage Vs and current I, they are in phase. Because the phase difference between voltage and current in case of a resistance, it is equal to 0. Is the phase difference is 0, then cosine of that phase difference is nothing but the power factor. So if Vs and I are in phase, then power factor will be equal to unity. Okay. So we are talking about this circuit. We are saying that the total impedance of the circuit is nothing but R. Z is equal to R plus J XL minus XC. Okay. So what will be the magnitude of the current that is flowing in this circuit? So magnitude of the current, it is given by, I am saying, I am showing it is in italics, I. Okay. So it is nothing but magnitude of the phasor current I. Okay. So it is given by what is the voltage Vm divided by, if you want to calculate the magnitude of this, because the magnitude of this source voltage is Vm and this is angle. So I am taking here the magnitude of current is nothing but the voltage magnitude divided by the impedance magnitude. So impedance is nothing, this real part plus imaginary part. Okay. So what will be the total impedance? Z, what will the magnitude of Z here? It will be nothing but R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Real part square plus imaginary part square whole square root. Okay. So it will be Vm divided by under root R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Got it? So this is the magnitude of the current that is flowing in this series RLC circuit. Got it? So what will be the average power that will be dissipated in this circuit? Average power that will be dissipated at this circuit at frequency omega naught, omega. So that power is given by 1 by 2. I have shown this current in italics form. Okay, in italics form. So I will use this form here. 1 by 2 I square R. This is the average power that is dissipated in the circuit, because no power will dissipate across the inductor and capacitor because they are reactive parts. So real power, average power, P, active power, it will be dissipated only across the resistor. So it will be 1 by 2 I square R. So we know that at resonance, if you will see this equation, at resonance, XL is equal to XC. So what will be I? I will be nothing but Vm divided by R. Because this part will be 0. So it will be Vm divided by under root R square. It will be Vm by R. So if I will substitute it, I will say that at resonance, I is nothing but Vm divided by R. Okay, so and this resonance it occurs in a circuit at frequency is equal to omega naught. So I can write at that P omega naught is equal to 1 by 2 Vm square divided by R square multiplied by R. So I will get is it equal to as 1 by 2 Vm square by R. So this is the power that is dissipated in the circuit at resonance. Okay. So what if I draw the plot of current versus frequency omega? The graph will be like this. This is omega, this is current I, italics. So I will show it here, this italics. Okay. So I have omega, I have current. So the graph will be like this. Okay, just wait a second. So I will get a graph like this. Okay. So this, what is, I told you that at resonance I will be nothing but Vm by R because XL minus XC is equal to 0. So I will draw this here. So what will be the current at resonance? It will be Vm by R. Okay. And the frequency will be omega naught. Got it? So we know that this is at omega naught, the power dissipated is maximum. Okay, and that power which is dissipated is given by 1 by 2 Vm square divided by R. Okay, now we say that at certain frequencies the power dissipated will be half of the maximum value. I am saying that at certain frequencies omega 1 and omega 2 the power dissipated will be half of the maximum value, and means P omega 1 will be equal to P omega 2, which is nothing but 1 by 2 PW naught. Got it? So can I write it like, which is equal to 1 by 2. So I'm saying at half power frequencies. So 1 by 2 it was I square R. Okay, 1 by 2 I write it at like I by root 2 whole square into R. Okay, because power is nothing 1 by 2 I square R. So I am saying that at some frequencies the power will be equal to the half of the maximum power, which is the power at resonance. So I can get 1 by 2. If you can see that I have written it I by root 2 whole square. So if you will open this, it will be I square divided by 2. So this whole will become 1 by 4 I square R. What it will become 1 by 4 or I square R. So which is nothing but 1 by 2 PWO. Because PW is nothing but I square R. So if I will solve, I know that this current I at resonance, this current is nothing but Vm by R. If I will substitute it here 1 by 2. So this current is nothing but Vm by R. It will be Vm square divided by twice R square into R. Okay. So this R square square and R will cancel. So I will get PW1 is equal to PW2 is equal to 1 by 4 Vm square by R. So what is the power at resonance? It is 1 by 2 Vm square by R. No, power at frequency omega 1 and omega 2 is nothing but half of, I am saying it is the half of the maximum power, which is 1 by 4 Vm square upon R. This is obtained when our current was I by root 2. So I by root 2, it means 1 upon, it means 0, means 1 by root 2. So it is 0.707. So I am saying that the power will be maximum when the power will be half. At certain frequencies, the power will be half of the maximum power. At that time, the current will be 0.707 times the maximum, the current at resonance. Okay. So this is the current Vm by R. So I am saying this is the current 0.707 R. So at this is 0.707 Vm by R. Okay. So at this current, okay, the power will be half. So this frequency is called omega 1. Okay. And this frequency is called as omega 2. And the difference between omega 2 and omega 1, it is called as B, the bandwidth. be the bandwidth. Got it? Please remember, I am saying that at certain frequency, firstly I draw the graph of the current versus omega. Okay, at that time the current that is flowing in the circuit, it is means under resonant condition, the current flowing in the circuit is nothing but Vm by R. Okay, then I said that at some frequencies omega 1 and omega 2, the power dissipated in the circuit, it will be half of the maximum power. Maximum means the power which was dissipated at resonance. So 1 by 2 half of maximum power, which was nothing but 1 by 2 I square R. So instead of I square, I am using I by root 2 whole square. Okay, so after solving this, I am getting 1 by 4 Vm square by R, which is nothing but half of the maximum power at resonance. Okay, so means if you will see 1 by root 2 is nothing but 0.707. So the current at that time will be 0.707 times the current at resonance. At resonance current is Vm by R. So it is 0.707 Vm by R. So I am drawing a straight line from this current point, which is cutting this graph at 2 points. One here, one here. So this one is omega 2 and this one is omega 1. So the difference between omega 2 and omega 1 is called as the bandwidth. Okay. So I am saying bandwidth beta is nothing but omega 2 minus omega 1. Got it? So this bandwidth, it depends upon omega 2 and omega 1. Okay. So where omega 2 and omega 1, they are called as the omega 1 and omega 2, they are called half power frequencies. Half power frequencies, because we say that at these frequencies the power will be half of the maximum power and the current will be 0.707 times the current at resonance. Okay, so this half power frequencies, omega 1 and omega 2, they are obtained by setting this half power. I will write here, half power frequencies are obtained by setting Z equal to under root 2 R. Okay, means when we set the total impedance of the circuit is equal to root 2 times the resistance of the circuit, we can say that we can derive the relation between the half power frequencies omega 1 and omega 2. So how it is done, I will show you here. So what is Z? Z is nothing but under root R square plus omega L minus 1 upon omega C whole square. Okay, so this Z should be equal to under root 2 times R. Okay, so if you will solve for R, omega, in this case you can see that the equation is a quadratic equation, and if you will solve for the roots of the equation, you will get two values of omega. Because the equation being a quadratic one, you will get two values of omega. So I am saying one value is omega 1 and the another value is omega 2, and simply using the quadratic equation method to calculate the roots, you will get omega 1 is equal to minus R by twice L plus under root R by 2L whole square plus 1 by LC, and omega 2 will be equal to R by 2L plus under root R by 2L whole square plus 1 upon LC. So name this equation as equation A, this equation as equation B. Okay, and omega 1 omega 2 omega 1 omega 2, if you will take the product of these two equations, you will see that the product will come out as equal to 1 by LC. Okay, take this equation as equation number C. Okay, so I am saying half power frequencies and this omega 1 and omega 2 and the resonant frequencies. I am saying omega 1 comma omega 2 and omega naught, they can be related. They can be related like, so I am saying, I will take equation C. I am saying that omega 1 into omega 2 was nothing but 1 upon under root 1 upon LC. Not taking square root on both sides, so it will become under root omega 1 omega 2 is equal to 1 upon under root LC. Okay, so I am taking square root on both the sides. So 1 upon LC is nothing but, if you will see, 1 upon LC is nothing, under root LC is nothing but, I showed you here, 1 upon under root LC is nothing but omega naught. Okay, so here I can say that which implies under root omega 1 omega 2 is equal to omega naught. Got it? Or so this is the relation between the resonant frequencies and the half power frequencies. So we can say that the resonant frequency is nothing but the square root of the half power frequencies. Mathematically, if you see that this omega naught is nothing but the geometric mean of omega 1 and omega 2. This is how you take the mean of the two things, na? Geometric mean. If you have two values, A and B, and you want to take the geometric mean of these two values, you will simply multiply these two values and you will take the square root. Okay, so omega naught is nothing but the geometric mean of omega 1 and omega 2, means resonant frequency is nothing but the geometric mean of the two half power frequencies. Okay, so next let us drive the relation between the bandwidth and the bandwidth and this half power frequencies. No, I told you B is equal to omega 1 minus omega 2. No, one thing you know, I told you about this curve. I showed you a curve here, this curve. Okay, now on which factor the sharpness of this curve depends. Okay, so the sharpness of this curve, it is measured by a factor which is called as a quality factor. So I am saying next, sharpness of curve is measured by quality factor. Quality factor denoted by Q. This is not the reactive power but the quality factor Q, though they are represented by the same symbol, but don't get confused with these two. Okay, so we say that as I told you earlier, that in case of at resonance, there will be no voltage drop across the series combination of L and C, and the circuit impedance will be purely resistive. So that means that though we have inductor and capacitor in the circuit, and the current is flowing through both the elements, inductor, capacitor, both. Okay, so means some energy is being fed to this to these systems, inductor and capacitor. So what happens at resonance? At resonance, the energy which is stored in inductor and capacitor, they oscillate. Means in one cycle, during the positive cycle, the energy is stored, and during the negative cycle, the energy is released. And this energy absorption and dissipation of this energy, it oscillates between the inductor and capacitor. Means when inductor will absorb energy, capacitor will discharge. When inductor will discharge energy, capacitor will absorb. So this energy oscillates between inductor and capacitor. Okay, so the this Q, it basically relates the maximum stored energy. Either it is stored in capacitor or this inductor. Okay, so it relates the maximum stored energy to the energy dissipated in one cycle of oscillation. Okay, you know the time period. If you know the time period, you can calculate easily one cycle. Okay, one cycle of oscillation. So I am saying that Q is nothing but the it relates the maximum energy stored in inductor or capacitor to the energy dissipated in the circuit in one cycle of oscillation. So it is given by Q is equal to 2 pi. I am saying maximum energy stored in circuit, or peak energy stored in circuit, divided by the, I am saying, energy dissipated in one period. One period means one cycle at resonance. at resonance. So at resonance, energy is dissipated only in resistor. Okay, so if you I will solve, it will be 2 by, what is the peak energy stored in the circuit at resonance? I will take a case of a capacitor, so 1 by 2 L into I square. Okay, if I will take the case of a capacitor, it will be equal to 1 by 2 CV square. Okay, so divided by energy dissipated in one period at resonance. So let us calculate first the energy dissipated, then we will see how much it is dissipated in one period. So the energy dissipated in the circuit is 1 by 2 I square R. Okay, so we are saying in one period, one period. So we know that if one period, T, we know time period is T. So how are T and F related? T is nothing but 1 by F. So in one period at resonance, so 1 by 2 I square R into 1 by, at resonance F will be replaced by F naught, 1 by F naught. Okay, so 1 by 2 cancel, I square will cancel, so Q will be equal to 2 pi F naught into L divided by R. Got it? So what will be 2 pi F naught into R into L? It is nothing but 2 pi F naught is not nothing but omega naught into L divided by R. So if I will take a case of a capacitor here, peak energy stored in circuit, I am taking inductor. If I will take capacitor, I will get 1 divided by omega naught C into R. So let us say that it is equation D. Okay, I am saying this is equation D. So this Q, it is a dimensionless quantity. So let us see what is the relation between B and Q. We know that B is nothing but omega 2 minus omega 1, difference between the two half frequencies. Okay, so and we know that B is equal to omega 2 minus just a minute. So I am saying B omega 2 minus omega 1. Okay, and I know that this another relation, we derived another relation between these two. Just a minute, let me see where is that formula. Q is equal to 1 upon omega square CR from equation and yes, where are the roots, where we derive the roots, omega 1 and omega 2. Yes, here. If you will see that this is omega 1 and omega 2, I am saying B is equal to omega 1 minus omega 2. So let us substitute the value of omega 1 and omega 2. So omega 1 minus omega 2. So this plus this minus omega 2, sorry, omega 2 minus omega 1 we have to calculate. So it will be this plus this. So minus omega 1, it will become plus R by 2L minus this term. So this term and this term, they will cancel. This whole term and this whole term, they will cancel each other. And we will be left with R divided by 2L plus R divided by 2L. So I will be left with R divided by 2L plus R divided by 2L, which is equal to twice R divided by 2L. So B is nothing but R by L. So I got B is equal to R by L, and I got Q is equal to 1 upon omega naught L by R. So what if I will substitute this now? This thing here, what I am saying, now from this equation D, I will get this now this L. So from equation D, from D I am getting Q is equal to omega naught L by R, which implies L is equal to Q into R divided by omega naught. Now I will substitute it from here to this. So B will be equal to R divided by QR into omega naught. Okay, so R and R will cancel. So I will get B is equal to omega naught by Q, or Q is equal to omega naught by B. So I am getting Q is equal to omega naught by B. Q is equal to omega naught by B. So I was saying that Q is nothing but it measures the sharpness, quality factor. It gives the sharpness of the curve, means what is the sharpness of the curve. Okay. So I am saying this quality factor, it is nothing but the ratio of the resonant frequency divided by the bandwidth. Resonant frequency omega naught divided by bandwidth omega 2 minus omega 1. So Q means what is the this Q? It will depend upon the resonant frequency omega and the bandwidth omega 2 minus omega 1. So this sharpness, how I will define this sharpness, I will say if the bandwidth is more, so Q will be, it will not be sharper. Okay. So Q will not be sharper. But if bandwidth is less, then Q will be sharper. Sharper means highly selective. Okay. So here I will try to show it you with the help of a graph. So I am saying this is omega. So I will take 3 graphs here, and this is the first graph. So I will take the central line. Central line should be same for all the graphs. This is my first graph. So this is my second graph. And this is my third graph. So central line is not this. Central line is somewhere here. Okay. This is the central line. This is my omega naught. Okay. So for this graph, okay, first graph, you can see what is the bandwidth. Bandwidth, if you will see, so bandwidth it will appear like here, somewhere around here actually. So here, so the bandwidth will be this, will the bandwidth. I am saying this is my curve. This was the first curve. This was first curve, my C1, and this was my second curve. No, this was not C1. This was my C1 curve. I will again draw it because it will not be clearly visible here. So I am saying I will have to take 3 curves at a time. So I am saying this is my curve 1, C1. Okay. So I will take another curve here. This is my second curve. This is C2. And the third curve I will take like this. This is my C3. Okay. So if you will take the first curve, you will see the half power frequencies will be somewhere around here. Okay. For the second curve, the half power frequencies will be somewhere around here. Okay. And for the third curve, C3, you will see that the half power frequencies will be somewhere around here. So it will be like this. So this is, I am saying this is B3, and this is bandwidth of the second curve, and this is bandwidth of the third curve, first curve. So if you can see, more the bandwidth, lesser is the sharpness. Okay. You can see the curve 1, it has a bandwidth B1, means bandwidth is more, but sharpness is small. So we also have a formula Q is equal to omega naught by B. So you can see that B is more in case of curve 1. So Q is, sharpness is small. So Q is least selectivity. It will have least selectivity. Sharpness means selectivity. So if you will see curve 2, the bandwidth is somewhat smaller than the curve 1. So its sharpness is slightly more than the curve 1. So if you will see curve 3, it has the smallest bandwidth, but the sharpness of the curve is much more. Okay. So it can also be seen from this equation that more the bandwidth, lesser will be the sharpness Q. So you can see that in this series resonance, is described by 5 parameters. It is described by 5 parameters. 5 parameters. What are the 5 parameters? First is the resonant frequency omega naught. Second are 2 cutoff frequencies, 2 half power frequencies. First is resonant frequency omega naught. The second is 2 half power frequencies, which is omega 1 and omega 2. The third is the bandwidth, and the fourth is the quality factor. Okay, so one more definition of this quality factor we have. Where is the formula? So for quality factor, I derived formula. Let me show you that formula. I can give you one more definition of quality factor from that. Yes, okay, here. you can see Q is equal to omega naught L divided by R. So you can see that it is the inductive reactance at resonance divided by the resistance. Okay, it is nothing but reactance, inductive reactance of the inductor at resonance divided by resistance, and or reactance of the capacitor at resonance divided by resistance. Because you are getting Q is equal to, quality factor is equal to omega naught L by R. So I am saying it is XL naught by R, which is not but the inductive reactance at resonance, and Q is equal to 1 upon omega naught C into R. So 1 upon omega naught C is nothing but XC naught divided by R. Okay, so reactance divided by resistance, reactance divided by resistance. So this is all for this this resonance, series resonance. So parallel resonance, it is comparatively easier as compared to the series resonance. So in case of a series resonance, I started with the series circuit, where in case of this parallel resonance, you will start with the parallel circuit, but you will see in parallel you will take inductor, resistor and capacitor. You will take all the three elements in parallel. Then instead of impedance, you will calculate admittance. Okay, so if you once you will calculate admittance, why? Then here you are making the imaginary part equal to 0. Here you are making this imaginary part equal to 0. Z is equal to R plus J XL minus XC. We are saying that XL is equal to XC. So this XL minus XC will be equal to 0. However, in case of this parallel resonance, you will not calculate Z, you will calculate Y. Again, after calculate Y, you will put its reactive part equal to 0. Okay, then you will proceed. So it is quite simple and easy compared to the series resonance. So in case of any doubts in this unit, in this topic, you can call me anytime. Okay, thank you very much.